Brace yourselves for a wild ride as we reveal who the Antichrist is. People have been talking about it, and we've heard you loud and clear. You can feel the excitement building up, with all your questions and curiosity hanging in the air. We have another video that goes deep into the secrets of prophecy, unlocking vital clues that expose the true identity of the Antichrist. From the ancient prophecies of Daniel 2, we deciphered the enigmatic dream and uncovered the significance of the little horn, a symbol still resonating within the powerful Roman Empire today. If you're eager to explore further, I'll leave a link to that below. In this video, we're diving into the second part of our search. Stick around till the end, where we spill all the proof related to the identity of the Antichrist through the prophecy. Welcome to Divine Favor. If you're new, we ask your support in this ministry by subscribing to our channel. It's easy. Just click on the subscribe button below the video. And don't forget to give it a thumbs up and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any of our powerful and latest content. Now let's dive right in. Daniel and Revelation unveils the symbolism behind apocalyptic prophecy, where a beast represents a kingdom. Now prepare yourselves for what lies ahead, friends. In Revelation 13, there's a mysterious beast that will enforce the mark of the beast. It's described as coming out of the sea with 7 heads, 10 horns, and blasphemous names. As we study this beast and its 10 defining features, we'll gain a clearer understanding of identifying the Antichrist. God meticulously outlines these characteristics to leave no room for doubt regarding its identity. As we ponder these traits, consider who this power might be. Those versed in history may recognize it. 1. The rise of the Antichrist from the sea. In a vision, I saw a beast coming out of the sea. The sea in the Bible often represents many people and nations. Revelation 17:15. The waters which you saw are peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. So we learn that the Antichrist power would arise from a heavily populated area. 2. The Antichrist receives power from the dragon. Revelation 13:2-5. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. And power was given unto him to continue 42 months. This beast would receive its power, authority, and even its capital city from the dragon. But who or what is the dragon? Well, we know from the Bible that the dragon represents Satan. However, the Bible gives us more details about this dragon in Revelation 12:3-5. It describes a great fiery red dragon with 7 heads, 10 horns, and 7 crowns on its heads. This dragon stood before a woman who was about to give birth, intending to harm her child as soon as it was born. This passage refers to the birth of Christ and how Satan attempted to destroy him. And through what power did Satan try to carry out this plan? Friends, as we know, it was Rome. King Herod, ruler of the pagan Roman Empire, sought to kill Jesus at his birth. So, according to Revelation, Rome would empower the Antichrist, providing its power, throne, and capital city. 3. The Antichrist reigns for 42 prophetic months, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. The Antichrist rules for 42 prophetic months. In Bible prophecy, a prophetic day equals a literal year. This principle is found in Ezekiel 4:6 says, And when you have completed these, you shall lie down a second time, but on your right side, and bear the punishment of the house of Judah. 40 days I assign you, a day for each year. So, the Antichrist's authority lasts for 42 prophetic months, equivalent to 1260 literal years in the Hebrew calendar. Remarkably, this 1,260-year reign of the Antichrist is mentioned 7 times in the prophetic books of Daniel and Revelation. So, which kingdom ruled for 1260 years? You start to see it now, we will soon reveal. 4. The Antichrist suffers a fatal injury, but is eventually healed. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. At one point, one of the heads of the beast seemed fatally wounded, but miraculously, the wound healed. This beast, according to the Bible, experienced a deadly injury that eventually recovered. We'll soon uncover how this extraordinary event unfolded for the Antichrist. 5. The Antichrist is revered, and they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? The Antichrist, as described in Revelation, is worshipped by people who marvel at its power and authority, acknowledging it as unmatched. This indicates that this kingdom is distinct from ordinary nations and holds a religious and political power. 6. The Antichrist commits blasphemy. And he was given a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and he was given authority to continue for 42 months. Then he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name, his tabernacle, and those who dwell in heaven. Additionally, the Antichrist commits blasphemy. He even dares to blaspheme God, his dwelling, and the heavenly beings. Blasphemy, according to the Bible, includes claiming the ability to forgive sins and declaring oneself to be God. The Antichrist embodies both of these blasphemous actions. 7. The Antichrist possesses authority to oppress people of God. Revelation 13:7. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kinds, tongues, and nations. Furthermore, the Antichrist is prophesied to persecute God's followers, waging war against them and prevailing. So, which organization could this be referring to? We'll soon uncover the answer. 8. The Antichrist has the number 666, Revelation 13:18. This calls for wisdom. Let the person who has insight calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. That number is 666. We are about to reveal the identity of this blasphemous leader, symbolized by a specific number, 666. This number serves as a unique identifier. We are called to calculate it not the mark of the beast, but rather representing the Antichrist power. So, who is the Antichrist? Stay tuned. 9. The Antichrist is led by a human figure, for it is the number of a man. Similarly, Revelation symbolizes the Antichrist power with the number 666, which represents a man associated with this entity. In Daniel chapter 7, there's a parallel prophecy mentioning the little horn power, characterized by human-like features and arrogant speech. This indicates that the Antichrist power will have a single human leader who acts as its representative. 10. The Antichrist attains worldwide influence and power. Revelation 13:3. All the world marveled and followed the beast, and authority was given him over every tribe, tongue, and nation. The Antichrist gains worldwide influence, and they begin to follow him. He receives authority over people from every corner of the world. This clearly shows that the Antichrist will have immense power and control globally. Friends, as we reflect on these 10 defining characteristics, some of you may have already discerned the entity we are discussing. There exists only one institution in history that aligns perfectly with all 10 traits outlined. This message is a heartfelt reminder of God's guidance, intended for our well-being and protection. The Antichrist, as revealed through these characteristics, points directly to the papacy, the union of the Roman Catholic Church, and the state. We will soon uncover how each of these characteristics seamlessly applies to this institution. Yet, let us be honest and understanding. Within the Catholic Church, there are sincere, loving Christians who earnestly follow their faith. Our video is not a condemnation of individuals, but rather a revelation of a system that stands opposed to God's truth. Let us reflect on the words of the esteemed Baptist pastor Charles Spurgeon, whose wisdom continues to inspire many in our modern Christian community. He expressed, "It is the duty of every Christian to pray against Antichrist. And as to what Antichrist is, no sane man ought to raise a question. If it is not the Popery in the Church of Rome and in the Church of England, there is nothing in the world that can be called by that name. Spurgeon's words carry weight and invite us to ponder deeply on matters of faith and truth. In our journey of understanding, let us approach these discussions with humility and compassion, recognizing the diverse perspectives that enrich our faith. Let us remember the profound insights shared by the leaders of the Protestant Reformation. Reflect on the words of Martin Luther, a figure revered among the reformers and the visionary behind the Lutheran Church. He expressed with clarity, "We here are of the conviction that the papacy is the seat of the true and real Antichrist." John Calvin, another influential reformer and theologian, echoed Luther's sentiments on this matter. Some persons think us too severe and censorious when we call the Roman pontiff Antichrist. I shall briefly show Paul's words in 2. These are not capable of any other interpretation than that which applies them to the papacy. In these words, we find a sobering acknowledgement of the truth they held dear. It's important to recognize the historical context and the heartfelt convictions that guided their beliefs. May our hearts be open to wisdom and understanding, and may our conversations be filled with love and respect for one another. Proof 1. The papacy rose out of a well-populated area. Historical evidence supports the claim that the papacy originated from Rome, Italy, a bustling center of political, cultural, and religious activity in the early centuries of Christianity. Rome attracted people from across the empire. This aligns with the biblical prophecy of the emergence of the Antichrist power from the sea, representing diverse peoples and cultures. This historical alignment confirms the papacy's emergence from a well-populated area and its fulfillment of the biblical prophecy. Proof 2. The papacy received its throne, power, and authority from Rome. Again, historical evidence confirms that pagan Rome transferred its political, religious, and administrative influence, including its capital city, to papal Rome. This transition allowed the Catholic Church to become a dominant force in Western Europe. With the capital's move from Rome to Constantinople, the papacy rose to prominence in Western Europe, effectively replacing the Roman world empire. Historical records depict the papacy assuming titles like King and Pontifex Maximus, echoing the legacy of Caesar. This historical progression substantiates that the Catholic Church seamlessly inherited Rome's throne, power, and authority, fulfilling the prophecy of becoming a significant power in Western Europe as outlined in the prophecy. Proof 3. The papacy reigned for 1260 years. The papacy reigned for precisely 1260 years, as prophesied in the Bible, where a day signifies a year. It was foretold that the Antichrist would rule for 42 prophetic months, equivalent to 1260 literal years. In 538 AD, papal Rome attained full supremacy in Europe following Emperor Justinian's decree, granting the Pope control and power without opposition. Throughout the Dark Ages, the papacy wielded absolute authority over European nations, keeping the populace in spiritual and intellectual darkness. The span between 538 AD and 1798 AD totals precisely 1260 years, confirming the prophecy's fulfillment. This evidence underscores the assertion that the papacy is the Antichrist, a designation attributed to no other entity. Proof 4. The Antichrist suffers a fatal injury, but is eventually healed. In 1798, the papacy suffered a significant blow known as the deadly wound when the French Napoleon's General Berthier captured the Pope, marking the end of papal dominance in Europe. The Bible prophesied the eventual healing of the deadly wound inflicted upon the papacy. In July 1929, the Italian government once again recognized Vatican City as an independent religion and political state. Currently, the papacy holds universal power, influence, and prestige, as evidenced by its significant role in global affairs. The ecumenical movement aims to unite all Christian denominations, thereby ending the protest that historically characterized the Protestant faith. This ongoing trend indicates a shift towards greater unity within Christianity under the leadership of the papacy. Proof 5. The papacy receives worship. In Revelation 13, the Antichrist is described as a beast representing a nation and a religious authority that receives worship. The papacy fulfills this prophecy as it functions as both a religious power and a sovereign nation. You may know this, but the Vatican City, headquarters of the papacy, officially known as the Vatican City State, is a sovereign city-state within Rome, Italy. It is the world's smallest independent state, both in terms of area and population. It has its own independent government, legal system, and diplomatic representation with many nations. It has defined borders, its own postal system, and other attributes of territorial sovereignty. It has its own government, headed by the Pope, who serves as the absolute monarch of the state. He exercises executive, legislative, and judicial powers within the Vatican City. The city is represented internationally by the Holy See, which is the ecclesiastical jurisdiction of the Catholic Church. The Holy See maintains diplomatic relations with numerous countries and international organizations. Despite its small size, the Vatican holds significant global influence and receives worship from over 1 billion followers worldwide. The Greek word proskuneo is translated as worship in the Bible. Proskuneo is a compound word derived from pros, toward, and kuneo, to kiss, and it carries the connotation of showing reverence, homage, or adoration. The act of bowing down or kneeling before someone as a sign of respect and honor, which is often associated with worship, can include the gesture of kissing the hand. In biblical and cultural contexts, proskuneo signifies an attitude of profound reverence and submission, often expressed through physical gestures or acts of homage. In the Bible, the term is used to describe the worship of God. As you may have seen it, kissing the papal hand is a traditional act that's been done for centuries. People often bow and kneel ahead, placing a peck on his ring, and this common gesture is to show their respect for the Pope and his authority. This evidence underscores the papacy's fulfillment of the prophecy regarding the reception of worship as a religious power and nation, as the prophecy foretold. Proof 6. The papacy claims to be God on earth and to forgive sins. The Catholic Catechism explicitly states that priests possess the authority to truly forgive sins, a power purportedly granted by Christ. This assertion contradicts the biblical understanding that only God can forgive sins, as Isaiah 43:25 says, making the papacy's confessional system a counterfeit of God's salvation plan. This judicial authority will even include the power to forgive sin. The Catholic Encyclopedia, Vol 12, Article Pope, page 265. Here is another quotation from the Ecclesiastical Dictionary, written by Jean-Baptiste Bouvier and commonly known as Ferrari's Ecclesiastical Dictionary. This dictionary, compiled in the 18th century, offers definitions and explanations of various terms, concepts, and practices within the Catholic Church. The Pope is of so great dignity and so exalted that he is not a mere man, but as it were God and the Vicar of God. Ferrari's Ecclesiastical Dictionary. The quote reflects a perspective on the Pope's authority and position within the Church, from the book titled On the Authority of the Councils, De Autoritate Conciliorum, specifically from Book 2, Chapter 17. We find this statement: all names which in the Scriptures are applied to Christ, by virtue of which it is established that he is over the Church, all the same names are applied to the Pope. This quote is attributed to Cardinal Robert Bellarmine, a prominent figure in the Counter-Reformation period and a key figure in defending Catholic doctrine against Protestant challenges. Moreover, here is Pope Leo XIII's affirmation of the doctrine of papal supremacy, but the supreme teacher in the Church is the Roman Pontiff. Union of minds, therefore, requires complete submission and obedience of will to the Church and to the Roman Pontiff, as to God himself. We, the popes, hold upon this earth the place of God Almighty. These quotes are from authoritative works by Catholic dignitaries, underline the papacy's claim to divine authority and the power to absolve sins, and blasphemy, aligning closely with the characteristics outlined of blasphemy. Proof 7. The papacy has persecuted God's people. Historical evidence attests to the papacy's role in the persecution and execution of countless individuals during the Dark Ages for teaching faith contrary to the teaching of the Church of Rome. Estimates suggest that over 50 million lives were lost. Even Pope John Paul II acknowledged and apologized for these mass murders, although this cannot undo the damage and more is yet to come. Proof 8. The papacy is linked to the number 666. The number 666 represents the number of a specific man in the organization. Now, one of the titles that all popes are known as is Vicarius Filii Dei, translates to Vicar of the Son of God, or a substitute for the Son of God. This title aligns with the papacy's claims. When the Roman numeral values of this title are added, they sum up to 666, precisely as prophesied in the Bible. Okay, let's see if this title of the popes will equal 666. Here you see, Vicarius has a total of 112, Filii has 53, and Dei has 501. And if you add it all, 501 plus 53 plus 112, the grand total would be 666. And there you have it, fits perfectly with the title given. Proof 9. The papacy has a man as its leader. As you know, the Pope holds a prominent position as the visible leader of a global authority. Roger Williams, the founder of the First Baptist Church in America, criticizes the Pope's presumption to alter divine laws and his blasphemous assertions as outlined in 2 Thessalonians. Proof 10. The papacy is a global power. Leaders from the most influential nations regularly visit the Pope to pay their respects. The papacy's power and influence, both historically and presently, are undeniable. Additionally, the term Catholic itself means universal, reflecting the Church's worldwide scope. And there you have it, friends. These revelations leave no doubt about the identity of the Antichrist. 10 distinct proofs presented in the video perfectly match the characteristics of the papacy. Understanding this is crucial, as the Antichrist power will impose the infamous mark of the beast globally. The message is not an attack on Catholics, but a warning against Satan and a counterfeit worship system. It's a message of love from Jesus, aiming for the salvation of all, including Catholics. We encourage you to express gratitude for the warning and to share the message. The series is to help grasp Bible prophecy and prepare for Jesus' imminent return. Thank you for watching. See you soon in the next videos.